For all of us who miss Scream Queens, it looks like Ryan Murphy gave us a gift. That was the gayest, campiest hour of American Horror Story I've ever seen. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's EJ Marino and welcome to About Last Night, the show where I talk about the TV show I saw last night. We are diving in to the season premiere of American Horror Story 1984. First and foremost, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot. If you're here from last season of American Horror Story, we are in for another crazy year. If you're new to my channel, thank you guys so much and make sure you subscribe because I will be covering every episode this season. Now, what did I think of this season? What do I think of the kickoff of 1984? Well, I loved it. If you're here looking for me to be like, this was too 80s, this was too campy, this is not that type of review because this is the exact kind of season I wanted from American Horror Story. Look, I loved Apocalypse, but it was a heavy season. There was a lot of research and knowledge about the the series that we needed to go into. It was heavy dealing with the apocalypse, the Antichrist. That season was just a lot. Where this one, instantly, it feels fun, it feels campy. There's still that serious American Horror Story vibe. I mean, the gore was there, the violence was there, the suspense, the mystery, it's all there. Everything we know and love is still in American Horror Story 1984, but what I like is the overall paint of the 80s, the overall vibe that this is giving. If you like slasher movies, you are going to love this, and what they're building up, I can see it. This is going to be like Halloween, Friday the 13th era, and I'm so excited. The episode starts off in the 1970s. Basically, if you know any slasher movie, we have to know how we got to this place, and we see the first couple killings from our killer, Mr. Jingles. The name is silly, but you know what? That key jingling and the way he kills people, yeah, I think he's nothing to joke about. Again, the name is silly, but he is brutal. The way he stabs through that person's mouth, the way he takes off ears as like a trinket, it's all crazy, and it's all in this intro, and I really thought this intro sold me on this tone. We had that color grading, with the film and all that. It seemed such a good throwback, and I really like that. And like I said, it set the tone and let me know, oh, we are doing pure 80s homages, and I love that. Right after we see Mr. Jingles' crazy body count, we jump a little bit into the future to 1984. Yes, 14 years after that initial attack at Camp Redwood, we are here with a new group of camp counselors led by Brooke, who's played by my precious Emma Roberts. I am a really big fan of her. I think she is the perfect person for this season, and what I like as well is she's playing a little bit of a different character. Though she might grow into her usual Emma Roberts-y bitchy fun character, right now she's playing the good girl. She's playing such an 80s final girl, and she's nailing it. We have such a great lineup. We have Montana, who's played by Billie Lourd. We have Chet, played by Gus Kenworthy. Xavier, played by Cody Fern. And the last one in our group is Ray, played by Delron Horton. He's one of the only actors I did not know going into this. We have the regulars like Emma Roberts, Cody Fern, Leslie Grossman, but we also have Matthew Morrison from Glee. Now he's the new one. This actor, Delron, I don't really know a lot about him, but I won't be forgetting him. The way they're building up Ray in this season, I can smell it. He's going to be that one love interest who's going to be there to the end. Though he might die, I can see him trying to save Emma Roberts' character and then, dying in that moment. I think that'd be a good heroic thing. And also, he didn't die first, so yay, breaking 80s tropes, the black guy didn't die first. Great way to kick that off with that. And I'm like, ooh, these characters, you get their vibes instantly. Everything about them, you start going, oh, he's the athlete. He's the pretty boy. There's the good girl. There's the party girl. I like that they instantly let you know these tropes and these characters without going too ham-fisted down our throat. With our character Chet, played by Gus Kenworthy, there's a lot of talks about him in the Olympics, but it's 1984 where the Olympics were in LA. It's good. It's all the stuff that they're building with these characters. Brooks kind of timid self, and then we have the attack from Richard Ramirez. We are instantly establishing these characters and giving me good ways to go, oh, so I'm familiar with them. With dealing with new characters like this, especially American Horror Story, you want them to feel instantly familiar, and they did that with this intro and with our characters. As our camp counselors drive to Camp Redwood, Brooke tells them about the crazy Night Stalker killing, and he said, "I will find you," and she's like, "I'm just gonna run away, go to camp," and all of that, and they think it's gonna be a nice, easy time. They stop at a gas station, get some gas, and then get that creepy warning. We all know that character in a slasher movie who warns our characters like, "You better not go in there, don't do it." We have Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th saying, "You're gonna die at the camp." He's basically doing the same thing like, "Hey, don't do this. I'm Patrick Swayze's brother, and I'm telling you, don't do it." I really like this scene. Again, we're like checking off so many things that you would expect from an 80s slasher, but I don't feel like I'm getting like, oh, been there, done that territory. American Horror Story has never done something like this, so I'm eating up all of these 80s slasher vibes, and I love this creepy gas station scene. I love that this set up other stuff, and then they leave the gas station, and then, you know, we're like, oh, let's hit a bong as we're driving, and I'm like, who does that? You're gonna hit somebody. Oh, they hit somebody, and then all of our little camp counselors hit somebody, a new hippie character who doesn't really stick around too much in this episode, but he's a fun character, and he makes my mind run. Like, the way he was saying some stuff, like some of the things, like, he doesn't know who he is, where he is, the time period, he seems a little bit off in the 80s. I really think, I have some bold predictions about our hippie man, but is he from the 70s? Honestly, like, the way he didn't know anything, I think there's some weird time stuff going on. I don't know exactly for sure, I could be wrong, but there is something amiss here. Everything we're being presented, I don't think is completely face value. There's something happening here. It's American Horror Story. We all know there's going to be a twist. I wonder if there's going to be some time travel, there's something crazy in the woods, I don't know, but when they hit this hippie and the way he interacted with the rest of them, I was confused. Once we get to the camp, we start finding out some of our other characters, like Margaret, who is played by Leslie Grossman. You know her, she was in Cult and she was in Apocalypse. I love her. And then we have our nurse character, played by Angelica Ross. She's from the show Pose. If you don't know that show, and if you don't know her, get used to her, because she is going to be an absolute star on this season. I loved her, every interaction she had, the way she interacted with the other guys, just everything about her, she commanded stuff. They had that campfire scene later where she's telling some of the story, and then we have Leslie Grossman kind of coming in to finish off the story. What a great scene, and show that these two are going to be carrying a lot of the fun exposition and a lot of the fun drama. I really love what they had to offer, and I loved meeting our new characters. But something I also loved is there's a lot of secrets here. There's a lot of stuff with the Leslie Grossman character, that she was here in the 70s during the original Mr. Jingles attack that we saw at the beginning. Then she's also said some weird stuff about her husband mysteriously dying, and she using some of the money that he left her to build this thing. There's a lot here. Then we also have, ooh, real quick, Cody Fern's character, Xavier, was on a weird phone call with a guy. It sounded like an angry ex. What's up with that? This is 84. I don't know how crazy the AIDS epidemic is right now, but I got a vibe there where he's gonna be doing something with an ex that the ex is angry about. I'm curious of what's happening there. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle being put on the table, and they better start connecting. I'm so worried that everything presented in this first episode is going to be lost by episode 6, because it's American Horror Story and we know that happens. But I'm curious if you guys are getting vibes at what everything here, from what characters are saying and the overall vibe. Do you guys think everything here is like truthful, or do you think there's some secrets underneath it all? As Leslie Grossman's Margaret character talks about her backstory and missing an ear, we also find out the hippie's missing an ear. Now that feels weird. The timeline seems to be a little messed up. Now if he's missing an ear when they first meet up with him, why did they show the killer getting out later than that? Did he lose his ear at a different time? Is someone else taking ears? I was really confused by the hippie losing his ear and then him warning Brooke in that scene where he's just like, get out of here, Camp Redwood. That like triggered something in him. Again, I'm so confused on what's happening here. Is there more to the story? Was he another victim from the 70s? Why is he dressed like the 70s? Why doesn't he remember Leslie Grossman's character? How long has he been in the woods? There's a lot here that makes my mind wonder. And then we start getting some more stuff, like when they go swimming. Oh, so talk about going swimming. We are introduced to Matthew Morrison's character. He is from Glee, and he is so disgusting. Oh my god. His character's name is Trevor, and he is gross sleazy 80s, the way his shorts are, those short shorts. If you've ever seen Sleepaway Camp, you know the short shorts I'm talking about. He's wearing those with his huge bulge, just sleazing up the place. He goes swimming with Billie Lourd's character Montana, and she's seen some weird truck like flashing its lights. Now later on, when we see that Mr. Jingles escaped, he's up in that same area. So I do think there's some timeline weirdness happening here. Or what if he's not even the killer and like Leslie Grossman's character is just like imagining all of this? Is she gonna pull a Pamela Voorhees? Yeah, there's some weird vibes with timelines. So when they're doing that swimming scene, that's cool, and I'm like, oh, that's creepy. And then we cut right back to the kind of right before where we see the Mr. Jingles character breaking out of the insane asylum. I love this scene where he like tricks the guard, chokes him. I love that. Just his face. John Carroll Lynch as Mr. Jingles is amazing. He was Twisty the Clown before. He was also John Wayne Gacy in Hotel, if you guys remember that. A great actor, a great performance as well. Mr. Jingles is going to be one that I think there's more layers. Again, like everyone, there's more to Mr. Jingles, but I like what we were offered here as a stone cold serial killer at the beginning. I like. Now, if he evolves into like a sympathetic Jason Voorhees type of character, I'm curious on that, but we shall see. I just like the escape scene was good. All the stuff when we get to the camp, before the camp, when he kills the mechanic, and I'm like, gross. Yeah, he like makes the car fall on him and squishes his head. I loved the kills. I love the overall vibe. I could just praise this show all night. After Mr. Jingles kills the guy at the gas station, he finally ends up at Camp Redwood, where he scares Brooke's character. Now, no one's around when he scares Brooke's character. Basically, he chases her through the mud, she finds the hippie guy dead, and I'm like, oh, the hippie guy's dead. Interesting, fine. Then we see all her chasing through the mud. I didn't expect a slasher final girl chase scene so early. They usually happen at the end of a slasher movie where she's finding all her dead friends and she's like, oh no, oh no. That was a little strange to see it so early, but turns out that it might not be real. Mr. Jingles has maybe hid the body so she's gonna look crazy, or was it Richard Ramirez, the weird Night Stalker guy, because he's shown at the end of the episode? What's up with Brooke? Do we think she's being truthful about everything? Did she really get chased by Mr. Jingles? Is Mr. Jingles even real? Who knows? That's what I love about American Horror Stories. You can think one thing and be completely wrong about something else. And I really like that this first episode established that vibe. I know that, not just by American Horror Story in general, not to take everything seriously yet, but I'm still, my mind's wondering. I love how they built everything. I love establishing these characters. I love the setting. I think this was a great first episode to really reintroduce us to the madness. And then we get some fun stuff with Mr. Jingles still. We get that weird phone call that Brooke's character gets at the end, which is heavy breathing and jingling. Yeah, that jingling terrifies me. I didn't think it would be, like, again, I thought his name was stupid. I was like, oh god, Mr. Jingles, no. Mr. Jingles can scare the hell out of me with his little jingly keys. With our potential final girl, Brooke, looking a little bit crazy at the end of this first episode, Mr. Jingles escaping, killing his first victim, and then we have Margaret's character, the one running this camp that I don't trust, Chet and Xavier, who are sketchy on their first little appearances. I love that this is established so much. I enjoyed this episode a lot. Is it one of the best episodes of American Horror Story ever? No, it's a fine opening season premiere, but what I like is that this episode just felt like another season. I didn't have to go in with all the apocalypse hype, all the crazy political stuff from Colt, all the weirdness of Roanoke. I just really like this episode, and I can see myself casually viewing this and having a great time. But did you have a great time? What did you think of my review? What do you think of this episode of American Horror Story 1984? I want to know all your feelings down in the comments below. We have to talk about this. Like, there was a lot. I will answer every one of your questions, comments, concerns about this season, because I just liked it. I had so much that I want to dive into, so let's talk about it below. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, because I make videos like this every single week. You will not want to miss as we dive into this episode, and we watch Ryan Murphy make me go crazy. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up, because YouTube takes us way too seriously, and let's talk about 1984 below.